Wherever nature spreads its influence, wherever there is a predator, wherever there is prey, that is where Hircine's power lies. So should your journeys take you to the misty pine forests of Falkreath Hold, where bears, wolves, spriggans and all manner of wild beasts roam wild, keep your eyes peeled for a white stag, because the Daedric Prince of the Hunt may have just found his latest game. Hey guys, it's Drew here and welcome back to FudgeMuppet. Today we're going to be telling the full story of the Daedric quest, Ill Met by Moonlight. And in doing so, we'll be touching on some interesting pieces of Elder Scrolls lore. When you meddle with Hircine, look out for lycanthropes, and should you see the telltale signs of the Bloodmoon prophecy, you best hope you're not too low on the food chain, because under the crimson glow of the night sky, the hunters will come out to play. When you think of predator and prey, you may think of good sport, a thrilling chase and a worthy victor, but unfortunately, when we make our way to the city of Falkreath, and hear the terrible rumours of a little girl savagely murdered by some monster, we'll realise that the hunt shows no mercy to the weak. Now, as the Dragonborn, there is an unspoken expectation upon our shoulders to get to the bottom of this, and that means heading down the stairs to the Falkreath jail, where a dishevelled man in rugged rags stands in a cell fashioned from an old dried up well. When we approach the bars, the criminal named Sinding will come and speak to us.
Come to gawk at the monster?
Best check he's the guy before we start looking at him scornfully. Why are you imprisoned here?
A little girl is dead because of me. Believe me, it wasn't anything I ever intended to do. I just lost control. I tried to tell them, but none of them believed me. It's all on account of this blasted ring.
What ring?
This is the ring of Hircine. I was told it could let me control my transformations. Perhaps it used to. But I'll never know. Hircine didn't care for my taking it, and threw a curse on it. I put it on, and the changes just came to me. I could never guess when. It would be at the worst times. Like with the little girl.
What kind of transformations?
I don't suppose there's a point in keeping the secret if I'm going to die in here anyway. I'm sure you've heard of men who shift to beasts under the influence of the moons. I am one of them. A werewolf. It's my secret, and my shame. That's why I wanted the ring. It was said to give men like me control. Now, I may look like a man, but I still feel the animal inside of me as strong as ever.
Why did this make you attack the girl?
I had just come into Falkreath. They needed some help working the mill, and I thought that would be something safe, something I could do. When I saw the little girl, I could feel it coming on. I could taste it. I needed to hunt, but this pitiful, limited body wasn't meant for hunting. Slow, no claws, weak, mashing teeth for chewing cud. I held in my rage as long as I could, but it boiled inside of me. She looked so fragile, helpless prey, and then I feel terrible about what happened, about what I did. It would probably be best for everyone if I just went away.
The fool! Is he insinuating that he stole the ring from a Daedric prince? When meddling with such powerful forces, the Daedric prince determines who holds their artifacts, not opportunistic mortals. He mentions transformations and the fact that he is a werewolf, one of the most prominent were-creatures that dwell in forest biomes. Now, the circumstances in which lycanthropes transform seems to vary across the lore. Some transform monthly, others transform nightly, and some, in the case of the Dragonborn, can transform at will. Sinding tells us that he wished to control his transformations, so we can assume that he had no control over it prior to taking the Ring of Hircine. What he did do to this little girl is horrific, and the fact that he targeted someone so frail, rather than maybe the miller or a Falkreath guard, seems really contrary to the hunt. But it seems as though this man was not himself when it happened, and if his intentions matter, he was clearly trying to tighten the reins on his lycanthropy before it backfired under Hircine's curse. What will you do now?
I've been looking for a way to appease Hircine. There is a certain beast in these lands, large, majestic. It's said that Hircine will commune with whoever slays it. I tracked it into these woods, but then I had my accident with the child. I want to beg his forgiveness, give him back the ring. But while I'm stuck in here, the beast wanders free.
So, however you want to rationalise it, we should help the man. If he's guilty despite his curse, helping him could prevent future attacks of this nature. And if you sympathise for him, we may just be able to meet Hircine and return Sinding to a more stable, less volatile state of being. I'll take the ring to Hircine.
Oh my. You would do this for me? Here, take it. I don't want anything to do with this wretched thing anymore. Seek out the beast. He wanders these woods. Bring him down and... well, the Lord of the Hunt should smile on you. I wish you luck, but you leave here while I still have my skin. Should our paths cross again, I will remember your kindness. Farewell.
And then he will transform, escaping the well as a werewolf. I'm surprised the fool didn't just toss the ring into the drain long before meeting us, especially considering that he had no trouble transforming at will moments after parting with us. Probably a gaping plot hole, but maybe it was an incredible coincidence. Either way, we're in possession of a cursed ring, and now we are the hunters. So let's head to the exit, letting the guard know that they really need to improve the security in their dungeons, and then head into the wildlands to find the beast, and then maybe the mighty Hircine can lift the curse or offer a solution. Sinding didn't give us much to go off when he asked us to seek out the beast, but fortunately Hircine's beast stands out like a sore thumb in these lush green woods. The stag is as white as fresh snow and drinks from a pond of mountain water. The beast will frighten easily, but one well-placed arrow will bring the stag down. From the carcass of the dead game, a pale blue apparition will appear, and it will speak to us in the common tongue.
Well met, hunter.
Are you Hircine?
I am the spirit of the hunt. Just one glimpse of the glorious stalker that your kind calls Hircine.
Considering our company, I say it's a safe bet to be reverent. What would you ask of me?
Your fealty is precious to me. I will make good use of it. You bear my ring. The one who stole it has fled to what he thinks is his sanctuary. Just as a bear climbs a tree to escape the hunt, but only ends up trapping himself. Seek out this rogue shifter. Tear the skin from his body and make it an offering to me.
And even if we ask about the ring, his answer will be the same. Kill Sinding and make an offering of him. Now we have a choice. We can show loyalty to Sinding, saying we won't kill him, and while that is honourable, Hircine will not be fazed by our refusal, claiming that other hunters will gladly carry out his will. However, if we acquiesce, he will say,
Fly, my hunter. There are others who vie for my favour. A bit of competition. Don't dally while the prey flees.
And then Hircine's ghostly visage will disappear, leaving us to our task in Bloated Man's grotto. As we enter the wooded dell, everything we see appears to be veiled in a bright red filter. The sky has a ruby hue to it, and by the campfire just ahead, a massacre seems to have taken place. The blood-soaked soil seems even more gory in the peculiar lighting. By the fire, one hunter clings to life, a Khajiit named Jakir. With his dying breaths, he will utter the words,
Has the Bloodmoon called you, fellow hunter?
What happened here?
The prey is strong, stronger than the hunters. But more will come. Bring him down for the glories of Lord Hircine.
And then he will lose his grip on life. It's clear that Hircine's worshippers are persistent and dedicated to the cause. Should we choose to carry out the Daedric Prince's will, there will be competition. Hircine is the Prince of the Hunt, of sport and game, and his worshippers tend to be pagans, living in the wild. This can make them easy to dismiss, as civilized folk will rarely come into contact with Hircine's domain and his flock. But there is one legendary time when Hircine's influence grips Tamriel, but it only occurs once every blue moon, if you'll excuse my poor choice of proverb. What I'm referring to is the Bloodmoon prophecy, and as we walk further into the grotto, we'll soon see it in all of its majesty. The moon is a red wound in the sky. What we are witnessing now is not a traditional example of the Bloodmoon prophecy, because the moon we see is Massa, not Secunda, the traditional blood moon. But it seems to be a natural phenomenon that Hircine can cause at will. The true Bloodmoon prophecy is a legend held by the Skarl, the native tribe of Nords residing in Solstheim. According to their tall tales, the Daedric Prince Hircine unleashes his hounds upon the land. There are 4 distinct stages of the prophecy. The first is the coming of the hounds, and it involves werewolves appearing on the island. The second is called Fire from the Eye of Glass, and this entails a pillar of fire emerging from the centre of the frozen Lake Hjalding. The third is the Tide of Woe, in which hawkers are massacred and wash up on the northern shores of Solstheim in droves. Finally, there is the Bloodmoon. Secunda turns crimson from the blood of the prey, and a hunt follows shortly after, the rules of which changing each time the prophecy fulfills itself. Sometimes a whole tribe is hunted, other times it is but one man. After the hunt, Hircine returns to his realm for another era. The last known Bloodmoon took place in the 427th year of the Third Era, and if you happen to find yourself on Solstheim, you can see for yourself that the numbers of werewolves there are diminishing. There is no talk among the tribe that the 4 signs of the prophecy took place before we embarked on this journey to Bloated Man's Grotto, so I guess to the average person this is just an unusual night, not unlike any other. But the sound of a wolf's howl breaking out above the still calm of the flowing waterfall is enough to pull us out of our reverie. The disturbance has clearly unsettled the fauna of the lively grotto, as bats flutter by, and as we round the corner we can see Sinding in his werewolf form, standing on a crag high above.
You? Why? Never thought I'd see you again.
I've been told to kill you.
And I would deserve it, wouldn't I? I can't stop you if that's what you want to do. Hircine is too powerful. If you spare me, I can be a powerful ally to you. And I would promise to never return to civilized life. I know now that I can't live among people.
He makes a persuasive case, and in this scenario where we see him in all of his bestial prowess, he seems genuinely remorseful. As the Dragonborn, we've had countless opportunities to cooperate with Daedric princes, or double-cross them for our own ends. Unlike higher powers, they don't seem capable of punishing us, but maybe they just appreciate a mortal willing to play their games. Either way, we have a choice. If you sympathise for the murderer and believe he is rehabilitated, you can spare his life. In response, he will say,
Thank the gods. Now let's deal with these other hunters. We hunt together.
And then together you can take down the rival hunters, before leaving Sinding to his life of isolation. Hircine will be pleased that you turn the chase inside out, and will reward you with the Ring of Hircine. If you are a werewolf, this ring will grant you unlimited transformations. However, if we respond differently to Sinding's plea, we can get our hands on a slightly different Daedric artifact. Instead of sparing his life, we will say that we cannot defy Hircine, and that he has to die. And he will flee from us. This time we will join the hunters, succeeding where they fail. When we land the killing blow on Sinding and skin his hide, Hircine will appear, this time as a humanoid spectre. He will say,
You've done well, hunter.
I did as you asked.
And found my favor. That skin will serve you well, child. Look more closely at it. My glory shall protect you from all this world's grievances. Good hunting.
And so, the night sky returns to normal, darkening the brush around us. We now own the Saviour's Hide, a Daedric artifact steeped in history. When worn, this unique light armor set will grant us 15% magic resistance and 50% poison resistance, as well as a tribal warrior aesthetic. This very hide was gifted to the first mortal ever to escape Hircine's realm, the Hunting Grounds. The Daedric prince was so impressed that he crafted the hide from his own back. It just goes to show that while Daedric princes are notoriously perceived as evil, Hircine is fair, even if he is brutal. Besting him in his sport is not met with spite and bad sportsmanship. So long as the hunt is being honoured by a thrilling contest, Hircine is pleased. The Saviour's Hide has seen a lot since escaping with that lucky mortal. In the year 389 of the Third Era, the Prince Mehrunes Dagon invaded the realm of Battlespire, a place between Oblivion and Nirn which served as an academy for battle mages. An unnamed apprentice of the Shadow Legion and the protagonist of an Elder Scrolls legend, Battlespire, used the hide to defeat Dagon and banish him from the realm. With such a history, it is only fitting that the hide of Hircine himself finds its way to the returned Dragonborn. Maybe Hircine has a soft spot for prophecies. But that concludes the story of Hircine's latest hunt in the land of Skyrim, and the short-lived Bloodmoon on that night in the 4th Era 201. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I've been Drew, and I will see you next time.